All right.
Hey y'all, this is Joe out here at the cabin build out of St. Bernard Acres. I'm going to do a quick video. I've had some questions about why I have done the rough in framing on these windows differently. And it all has to do with load bearing and non-load bearing walls, and I'll try to give you a little info on the difference in that, what all that means, and why I did what I did. So come on in my house or in my cabin and I'll see what I can do. You can do it from right there if you want.
I'm going to because I can't make it up these steps with the camera.
Okay. This window, you see, has no real header. It just has this 2x4 going across there. Still plays just 2x4. These jack studs, or trimmer studs as they're called, were not really necessary except as nailers. They didn't really need to be in here, but they're in here. This is a non-load bearing wall. Yes, it's an outside wall. How is it possible that that's not a load bearing wall? No. I'll explain to you. But let me show you my other window first. Now, this window, which I don't have in yet, you see is framed completely different. This, I needed the jack studs in there, and the cripple stud, and the sill plate, more things, cripple studs, whatever you want to call them. A double 2x4 header turned on its side, more of these cripple studs. Why? Because this is a load-bearing wall. That's the difference. It's an outside wall and it's a load-bearing wall. Now, the reason why this is a load-bearing wall and this one is not is really quite simple. My roof rafters are going to run this way, and they're going to rest on top of this top plate. That's where they're going to connect. That bears the load, if you will, of the roof. Half of the weight of the roof is going on top of these studs in this wall. The same on that side, because my rafters are going to be like this on each side. These two walls are going to be load-bearing walls. These two walls are not, because the rafter is going to carry, my end rafter is going to carry the load from the roof to this plate over here. This is basically a partition wall, is all this is. So it didn't need all the extra stuff. Why did you need all the extra stuff, Joe? Well, what happens on a load-bearing wall, that weight is resting on top of that plate. The weight, including snow load and factors like that, is transferred from that plate to these studs. It's equally spread across all the studs in the wall, goes down the studs to the bottom plate, to the sill plate, to the foundation. So that the weight of that roof, in reality, is resting on the foundation. Therefore, this is a load-bearing wall. And this one is not. So, you understand why it's a load-bearing wall now. All that weight is coming onto these studs. If we did not do this, if we had it just like this, and this is all we did, all of the weight on that stud, on that window, is going to come onto here. And over time, and very quick amount of time at that, this weight is going to start affecting this window. It's going to push down, and the load is going to be transferred from here to your window to the cripple stud. You're going to bind up that window and ruin it. It's not going to open or close. You've seen windows that won't open or close. I guarantee if you look inside, it's on a load-bearing wall and doesn't have any headers in it or any way to transfer the weight around the window. That's what we're doing here, is transferring the weight around the windows. So, a disclaimer. I am not a builder. I am not an inspector. I do not know code. I don't. This is how Joe does it. This is not, don't go build a house and say, well, this is what Joe told me to do. Now, I'm just showing you what I do, and this is how I interpret what I've learned so far, and the way I understand in layman's terms how this works. Over my door, this 2x4 double 2x4 header is replaced by a 2x6 because that's spanning 38 inches. This is only 24 inches. And depending on how much you're spanning, how much weight, how much snow, all this engineering stuff, that will determine the size of the header that you have to have. That, if you're building on your own, check with your local code office, your inspectors, your county engineers. Somebody will tell you what you're supposed to have, and you do it that way. This is not a house. This is not our home. We're not going to live here. This is a seasonal cabin, not subject to any codes. I don't have to worry about any of that here. I believe this is sufficient for my needs. 24 inches, this double 2x4, and everything going on these studs and being transferred down to where my window is protected, and it's just going to sit in here. That's all I need. Objection. Your Honor, would you ask the witness if he is stating fact or if he's stating opinion? It's strictly opinion. I have no facts to go by. If I may paraphrase a YouTube legend, a regular guy's hero, a rock star, if you will, I am not a cabinologist. I'm not a frameologist. I'm not an engineerologist. I'm not a spellologist because I don't even know a spellologist. I'm just a guy trying to build a cabin with my own two hands, like John Knoll would do, with what I have available, what I can afford to buy, what I can beg, borrow, steal, barter. I'm trying to build me a little cabin for me and my wife and dogs to come out here and have some fun. Just a regular guy doing this stuff. So, no facts. I present no facts. This is not Archimedes up here. I don't know the engineering behind it. Go learn that yourself. But that's how load-bearing walls work. Just think about, is it carrying any kind of weight? This we know is not, because the Raptor's carrying it all, and the Raptor's transferring it to this wall. This is nothing. If I had a wall running across here and coming this way for a little closet in here, there'd be no weight on it. There would not be a load-bearing wall. This wall over here, if you can see this is a load-bearing wall because it's carrying the weight of the loft. So this is in fact a load-bearing wall. The wall I'm going to put in here for the bathroom in there is not going to be load-bearing because it's only going to come up there. It's not going to carry any weight. This one will. Load-bearing walls, not load-bearing walls. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you understand now why I did that window that way and that's all that was required, and why I did this window this way and why it was required. And my door is done that way. So, you can quit asking those kind of questions. And we'll get it right. But I hope that makes sense to y'all. Hope you appreciate this little lesson. If you did, like it, comment on it, let me know. Share it with your friends. Somebody's trying to build something. They might want to understand what load-bearing and non-load-bearing walls mean and how you got to rough in windows to account for it. That is all. I'm out.